Hello everyone. It's been a while since I last made a short advanced vocabulary video, and to be honest, I have no excuse for that. No excuse whatsoever. And by some crazy coincidence, that's exactly the word we're looking at today. Yeah, the C1 adverb whatsoever. Now that's C1, of course, according to the Cambridge English Dictionary. And as some of you know, in these videos, I tend to look at vocabulary which is either difficult to find the real meaning of in dictionaries or on the internet, or I look at vocabulary that I feel that English learners could and perhaps should be using more often. And I think whatsoever fits into that category. I think many of you perhaps have heard this word before and maybe even know the meaning, but you don't use it as often as you could, perhaps because you're not really confident that you really understand the meaning and how to use it in an appropriate context. So what does it mean? Well, basically, whatsoever is a synonym of at all. But perhaps that doesn't help you that much, right? Because you're probably asking, well, when do we use at all? Well, we use both whatsoever and at all in negative sentences to really emphasize what has been said already. So when we have expressed some kind of negative idea and we want to really make it clear that it's a strong and emphatic opinion or idea. So as always, we need to look at some examples to really get a good understanding of how to use whatsoever in context. So the first example I have for you is, there is no evidence whatsoever to support your claim. Okay, so there is no evidence whatsoever to support your claim. So in this situation, you're having a conversation with a friend or a colleague, or maybe your partner in the speaking paper of your English exam, and they say something and you're actually quite sure that they're just inventing something. So you challenge them and you say there's no evidence whatsoever. So there is no evidence to support your claim. That's fine. That's kind of neutral. You're just informing the person there is no evidence. But if you say there is no evidence whatsoever, really emphasizing it, it's the same information, but you're really stressing that there is no evidence. And of course, as I said, you could say there is no evidence at all to support your claim. It's basically the same. I would say that whatsoever is a little bit more emphatic. It's a little bit stronger. Another example, with all due respect, that has nothing to do with my point whatsoever. So with all due respect, that's a nice way of challenging someone. So you're going to say something which contrasts with their opinion, but you're being respectful and polite. So with all due respect, that has nothing to do with my point whatsoever. So in this case, the person you're talking to or arguing with perhaps has said something that you think is just completely irrelevant. Maybe they weren't really paying attention to what you were saying, or maybe they were deliberately taking the conversation in a different direction, but you want to point that out and make it clear that you realize that, and you say, that has nothing to do with my point whatsoever. And one more example, I see no problem whatsoever with students using AI to prepare for their exams. It's a bit of a controversial one here, but yeah, I see no problem whatsoever. So remember, it's always in a negative sentence. As you've seen with all of these examples, it's the negative. We can't use the affirmative. We can't see, I see a problem whatsoever. No, I see no problem whatsoever. Now, be careful with this example because it does depend how you use AI. If you're using ChatGPT to write your essays, that's fine to get ideas and vocabulary and structure and organization, but you have to write your own essays at some point. So it's a good tool to use, I believe, AI, artificial intelligence, but it's not everything. You have to do things yourself. But yeah, it's really just an example. Okay, as always, put your own examples in the comments, use it or lose it, because this word is a nice one to put into your active vocabulary, because you probably already have it in your passive vocabulary, but it's great to use it in a more active way. Okay, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you very soon for another video.